You're training 3 to 4 times a week, eating well, yet your body hasn't changed in months. The problem almost certainly isn't your training. It's the 5 things happening outside the gym, and most men never find out what they are. My name is Adam. I'm a performance nutritionist who's helped over 200 men lose fat and keep it off. These are the 5 habits that matter more than hours in the gym. Before you have a hairy canary, I want to be real. Of course, training matters, but even a half-baked program can get you some results, often a lot of results. But in my opinion, these are the habits that matter most for fat loss, and most men miss it. So before I went full-time as a coach again, I worked in recruitment, an office job, really long hours, commuted by the underground because remote working wasn't really a thing then. I ate at my desk, like all my meals, trained 4 times a week without fail, but I was losing nothing. At some point, I started tracking my steps. I was just curious. I was averaging around 3,000, well, maybe just a bit under 3,000 a day. I think it was like 2,700. Initially, I was doing 4 sessions a week at the gym when I had a bit more time and maybe spending 4 hours training. But I was sitting at the desk for the rest of the hours, the rest of the day, the rest of my 10 hour days at the time. I'd built my entire focus around the gym and I ignored what I was doing the rest of the time, which was almost nothing. Your total daily expenditure isn't mostly your workouts. For most men, it's the background activity, walking, standing, moving between things. It all adds up, often to significantly more than any training session. And when you're in a deficit, that background movement drops further without you even noticing. Your body starts conserving. You sit a bit longer, you take the lift, stop fidgeting. It's not you being lazy. Your body's just defending its weight through 8,000 small decisions you're not even consciously making. I want you to pick a daily step count you can hit most days, not something that's aspirational, but a realistic number. Then protect it on the days you're busy and tired, because those are the days your body wants to stop moving. Okay, so there's a delay between your stomach being full and your brain actually registering it. It's around 15 to 20 minutes, but most men finish their meal in less time than that. One of my clients said he spends about 5 minutes or even less on a meal. So by the time the signal arrives, you've already eaten past it. And the research on this is consistent. People that eat more generally eat faster, not because the portions are bigger, but because they outpace their own satiety signals every time. Slow down the meal, chew each mouthful as much as possible. You'll naturally eat less without even consciously restricting anything. Put the fork down between bites. Make your meals last at least 15 minutes, I'd say. That's it. No new diet, no new tracking, just chewing each mouthful, taking your time. Okay, so this is the one that wastes the most time. Most men approach fat loss like it's a test they need to pass every single day. One bad meal becomes a bad day becomes a bad week, and by Thursday, they've decided to start again Monday. Look, I did this for years. I built plans I couldn't sustain. I started them perfectly for a fortnight, then came off them hard. I'm talking like a full evening of eating everything I'd been avoiding. Just standing in the kitchen, just wondering what just happened. Then I'd look at the damage and decide my problem was the discipline, and it wasn't. The plan was just too aggressive to live inside. The restriction was creating the blowout. What the data shows is even people who are consistent for around 50 to 60% of the time, they still get results over the course of a year. And men who get to 80% consistency, which still means having one in about 5 meals that isn't ideal, get significantly lasting results. They get really good results. 80%. That's a meal out on a Friday, a couple of drinks at the weekend, a lunch where you just didn't overthink it. You ate the better choice that was available. And you still get to where you want to go. The goal isn't a perfect week. It's a plan that you can still be on in 6 months' time. If you want to know what a sustainable deficit actually looks like for your body weight and your life, there's a free calculator below in the description that works it out for you. A client of mine, let's call him Richard. Richard's the first name that comes to my head. He sent me a voice note at 6 a.m. one morning. He had been on track for 3 weeks. He was consistent with his training. He was eating right. His clothes were fitting looser, and his wife had noticed. But then one morning, he stepped on a scale. He was 2 pounds heavier than when he started. He was done, ready to scrap everything. The voice note I received made that pretty clear. But then I asked what he'd eaten the night before, because he hadn't tracked that meal. A big pasta dinner, a family birthday. It was a lot more than usual and a very late night. That extra 2 pounds, it wasn't fat. It was food mass, water, glycogen from the extra carbs sitting in his muscle. It was gone by Wednesday. But if I hadn't been there to talk him down, he'd have ended 3 weeks of solid work based on that number that had nothing to do with his fat. Scale weight moves constantly, and most of it is irrelevant. A high salt meal, a heavy session, a bad night's sleep, any of that can add 2 to 3 pounds, sometimes like a lot more overnight, but then it disappears. Take your waist measurement bi-weekly. That's one of the most important measures that most men miss. Weigh yourself 3 to 4 times a week if you want the data, but look at the weekly average, not a single morning. Then look at whether that average is trending down over a month. That's a signal, and everything else is just noise. If you're sleeping 5 to 6 hours and wondering why hunger is harder to manage, why you're making worse food choices, why your body composition isn't shifting, the sleep is a direct cause, not a side issue. Sleep is when your body regulates the hormones that control appetite. If you cut it short, ghrelin goes up, and that's responsible for your hunger. You wake up already fighting a biological push towards more food before the day's even started. I had a client who generally tried everything. Deficit was good, training was consistent, but he kept blowing his calories in the evening and assumed it was a willpower problem. But then we looked at his sleep. He was averaging out about 5.5 hours on work nights. We didn't touch his diet. We worked on his sleep first. Within 2 weeks, the evening hunger had dropped noticeably. Then the calories just sorted themselves out. The other thing that's probably worth saying is if you're stuck and frustrated, the instinct is to add more sessions, more training, just tighter restrictions. But if you're already under-recovered, adding load is often what's keeping you stuck. You're not lacking in effort, you're just lacking recovery. Try to aim for 7 to 9 hours, consistent sleep and wake times. That's not optional, that is optimal. Richard still has that voice note on his phone. He sent it to me again a few months later, not because he was struggling, but because he wanted to show me how different things are from the other side of it. He'd lost the weight, but more than that, he'd stopped letting the single number on a scale make decisions for him. That's the shift, not more effort, but better information about what the effort is actually telling you. And if you enjoyed this video, hit subscribe and watch this video next. I'll see you there.